All right, I want to take a look right now at. I'm looking at Minneapolis. I'm also going to look at big cities in general. But basically, I have noticed an escalation in the unease of people, or maybe just people losing their fucking minds, right? And this has been happening for a while. Of course, there was all the stuff that happened in 2020, but I have seen this steadily increase since then. So the way that this makes sense to me is like the frog in the boiling kettle, right? As the water gets warmer, the frog doesn't necessarily notice because it's a slow increase. But I'm not in the city all the time anymore. And when I do go back, I can see it. And I'm like, hey, this kettle's boiling, right? But let's just look at this. I'm going to start with Minneapolis and then go from there. And I'll look because I'm pretty sure that whatever is happening there is happening in other big cities as well. Now, what we get is a root card of the Ace of Swords and also a Four of Wands. So the Ace of Swords is about taking full control and having full responsibility of everything that happens to you. So it's like a need to claim one's own power that is like the basis of this. And then that immediately moves into the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is making a commitment to a stable, harmonious place. Now, this is the exact opposite of what I have been observing, right? So it could be that what is happening to people is like necessary changes in order to claim their own power and to make some sort of commitment to stabilize the environment. But what I want to look at is either side of this just to see what we got going on here. So on one side we have the sun, and on the other side the reversed Three of Wands. All right, so the three normally comes before the four, but the three is basically long-term growth, care, nurturing, patience, all of this stuff. And when this is upside down, it basically shows kind of a fear that something that you've put so much energy into is going to be taken away from you. Um, Now, for anyone that lives in Minneapolis or has lived there for a long time, so here's this fear that something that you have committed to, have nurtured, that it might be all for nothing. And this is trying to create stability. So on the other side is the sun. Now, the sun is generally about freedom and truth. And, that's almost outlawed at this point. But I also want to look and see if this is literally talking about the sun, like the rays coming from the sun, as the sun has been having a bunch of solar flares and solar storms and all of this. So let's pull one more on the sun, and we get the reversed Knight of Swords. So this is probably more about, truth and honesty being outlawed, but the reverse Knight of Swords. So this is the guard dog and the territorial protector. When this thing is upside down, it's like this thing doesn't really know what a real threat is anymore, and it just attacks everything. Now, the way that that makes sense to me, in combined at least with the rest of the reading, is if the honesty and truth of the sun is met basically with this sort of berserk guard dog energy, and that definitely is happening. If you say how you actually feel about fucking anything at all, like the real truth, someone is going to freak out on you. Okay, now I guess what I want to look at, because what I feel is that some big freak out event is coming. So let's look at the summer of 2023 for Minneapolis. Is there some big freak out event that is coming or not? And a reversed Knight of Pentacles. All right. So I would not necessarily say this is a mass event. What's happening here in the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles is a creature of habit. They tend to do the same thing every day and they go about their sort of structured discipline pattern. When this is upside down, it shows someone not being able to do the things they usually do. It's a disruption to a pattern. Now, the fact that it's showing up as a court card, this is something that is going to happen to people individually. This isn't like a mass thing, like a huge fire or a fucking explosion or something like that. This is just something that happens to people individually. I'm pulling one more card on this just to see what we're looking at. I'm going to move these other ones out of the way. And what we get is reverse Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is very good at zoning into something. They're very observant, right? Um, so you basically find what you look for in to some degree in Page of Swords energy. And when this is upside down, it's looking only for negative shit, and finding negative shit everywhere. And maybe that's me, right? Maybe that is me when I go into the city and I'm zoned into negative shit and I see it everywhere. But here, if we're reading this as the citizens of the city, so here is an individual level disruption to a pattern, and it happens because of tuning into negative shit, or it could be just a misreading of an energy, looking at something, and I mean, pessimism would do it. If you see a golden opportunity and you're overly pessimistic, then you would not see a golden opportunity. Something like that. Now, I'm going to pull some cards for other big cities. So this is just big city health in general, because I'm pretty sure that whatever fucking weird shit is happening in Minneapolis is also happening in Los Angeles and Chicago and like whatever. And then I'll look more at the world stage to see if this is happening everywhere. But we'll just go at first with American big cities. And we get a Queen of Pentacles. Oh, and again we have this Ace of Swords on the bottom. It looks like there is a need to take control. And as individual people are running into this need to sort of take control, I'm imagining that a bunch of these energies are going to clash. Now, the good thing about the Ace of Swords is it's showing responsibility, right? So people are feeling some sort of need to take responsibility and take control. Now, what we get here is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, again, this is not some mass event. This is something that happens to people on an individual level. But the Queen of Pentacles, so she's trying to help the dolls here. She shows them this pentacle, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything to the dolls. And it shows a miscommunication, usually trying to solve a problem with money when money is not what can solve the problem. I usually say the Queen of Pentacles is the kind of person that if someone really needs a hug, she would get him a gift card. It's a miscommunication in how to solve a problem, but trying to take control. and then trying to solve problems with money instead of with, I guess, action or energy or whatever. Well, the good news is with these cards, the thing that I was feeling coming, some sort of mass, freak out event, that's not what's showing up in here. Now I'm going to look big cities on more of a world stage to see what comes up. And just in general, in the world, all right, I might as well put the root card down here too. The root card here is the Emperor. Again, this is about control. But the main card that comes up is the reversed Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups, there's a lot of manifestation at the same time, which causes confusion. It's like you're trying to figure out where to go, and 1,000 doors open up at the same time, and you're like, "Oh my God, I don't know which one I'm trying to take." Now here, when this is reversed, it shows the confusion is being projected. So this, and coupled with the Emperor, so this is like the energy of projection. It's the main sort of projecting, controlling energy in the universe. And here it is coupled with projected confusion. This is just saying in big cities in the world that something is projecting confusion at the people. Now, I'm going to pull a card to see, like, if you live in a big city, if there's anything you can do to minimize all of this stuff. Oh. All right, Six of Wands. Well, so in the six, the person went into the cocoon and they did all this work on themselves and they emerge and they emerge this more powerful, like beautiful butterfly figure. Here's all the people who are hailing them like, hey, good job in all of this work you did to yourself. But the way that I'm taking this here, don't be afraid to emerge from your cocoon. Don't be afraid to embody whatever power it is that you're trying to embody. But also, there's a thing in here about recognition. The Six of Wands is really about being recognized for the things that you've done. And this is a two-way street. So if you know someone who has done a lot of work on themselves and they have been trying to improve, try to recognize it. Try to tell them good job for the shit that they have been doing. And this is also kind of a sign, maybe, to be around the people who see you, people who see the shit that you are doing, um, the things that you have achieved in your life, the people who would hail you, and try to keep those people around. I think that's going to be useful, especially as whatever this is fucking with everybody's head. I'm going to pull one more card just to see if there's anything that I've missed or anything that I've forgotten. And we get the Justice card, specifically sideways. This has been coming up a lot in a bunch of different readings, the Justice card. And it has also specifically been coming out sideways. I'm not exactly sure what to make of this, but the Justice card is about fairness, the lack of bias, seeing something for what it really is and treating it accordingly. Here we have pure bias, miscarriage of justice, like not being treated fairly whatsoever. What we get here is sideways. So there must be some kind of tipping point, right? Um, so I guess this energy would be kind of teetering right on its side, and it could go either way. So I suppose as we deploy this type of energy, maybe that will help turn it upright. And if we're a bunch of dicks to each other, then that might turn this thing upside down. But currently it is exactly sideways, which means it could go either way at this point. But that's what we get. I would love to hear what you think about this.